Well, hello, children, and I just wanted to speak to you today about time. Now, time is really important to us, and if I was to ask you, how do we measure time? You might say, well, by the clock. And as you get older, you learn how to read the time, and that's very important. And in the Bible, in Psalm 90 and verse 12, the psalmist says, and is asking God this question, "So teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. In other words, we're saying to God, help me to realize how short life is, how fast time is moving, so that I'll be wise about how I use my time and I won't just waste it. Now, I remember when I was a young person that I wanted time to pass. I wanted to get older. I remember saying to a friend of mine that I can't wait to be 20 or something like that. And I just wanted to grow up. And I remember this family friend said to me, only fools want time to pass, because time is very, very precious. And we only have a short time really in this world. If you live 840 months, 840, that's 70 years. And 840 months don't sound that long to me. Now, one way we measure time, of course, is by the clock. And I remember, and I've got here a metronome that keeps time for instruments. And time seems to slow down sometimes. And I remember when I was at school, that when it was around 10 to 3 or 3 o'clock, time seemed to slow down. When I was on holiday, and it was like maybe towards the end of the holiday, time would be going really fast. Every day would be going faster and faster. Now that's how it seems to us. Time, of course, moves at the same rate, but sometimes it seems to us like it's really going fast. And as you get older, by the time you're my age, you feel like your days are going super fast. And I know that all the good that I want to try and do in this world, I have to do in this life. Christians believe, as Muslims do and other faiths, that there is a life beyond this life, that we live forever. But we still have to do all the good we can to those in need, to those around us who are going through difficulties. And when you're at school, it's good not just to think, well, I'm doing okay and I've got friends to play with, but to think about other people, so that you use your time not just for yourself, but you use your time well for other people. And the psalmist in Psalm 90 there says, help us to have this heart of wisdom. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. And at school, the hope is that you will be learning wisdom as time passes. Now, there's a few things I want you to think about time. We believe that God is outside of time. If he wants to, he can go to any period of time he likes. And H.G. Wells wrote a book called The Time Machine, where he imagined what it was like to travel through time in a machine. And here's a model of a time machine, traveling through space, traveling through time. And it's really fun to imagine. Wouldn't it be great to get on a machine like that and go back 100 years or 200 years, and then maybe go forward in time to see what the future is like? But you know, it's really hard to predict the future, and only God can see ahead of us. And that's why it's so important to trust him and to look to him. That's what Christians believe. Now, I've got a couple of things I want to show you here. One of them is this book, and this is a book from about 1975, and in it, this person stuck in lots and lots of different cards, picture cards that they got from tea bags. When they opened a box of tea bags, there'd be a couple of cards, and you'd stick them into a book like this. And this is about outer space, and it's called The Race into Space. And this book is talking about going into space and visiting other planets. And then right near the end, and as I say, this is about 1975, it talks about the future. And I want you to look closely at this page. And it says, the manned flight to Mars. There will come a day when we'll go to Mars. And it says this. It says, according to one plan, we will arrive on Mars August the 9th, 1982. And then we'll come back to the Earth August the 14th, 1983. Now there's a prediction. We still haven't gone to Mars yet. It costs too much money and it seems to take too much time. And a lot of people are still hoping that one day we'll get to Mars, but the prediction in this book was wrong. I've got another prediction here. This picture is from a book from about 1972, which is a long time ago, nearly 40 years ago, 38 years ago. And here they're predicting the future. When you'll be on the phone, you'll be talking to someone on the phone and you'll actually see their face. But you see in this picture, what it has on one side, it's got a dial. And we know that phones today, we press buttons. We don't wait for a dial to go round and round. That's what they used to have. So in this picture, part of it is true, but they weren't very clever when it came to the dial, that it would now be push button. So they understood that one day there'd be Skype calls and Zoom conferencing, but they got the dial wrong. Now I've got here an hourglass, and this is just coloured sand, purple sand, going through a glass like this. And at one time, people used these a lot to time things, to allow half an hour or an hour to go by. And then if they wanted longer, they would turn it back over again. But in a way, what is good about an hourglass is it shows us that the time we have in this world is short. You might say, well, maybe I'll live to be 100. But as I showed you already, time can seem to speed up. So use your time well. When you're at school, don't waste your time. Don't sit looking out the window. Concentrate. Try and think of how best you can use your time so that you can become wise, so that you can understand what the teacher is telling you, and so that later in life you can use all the things you've learned at school and you won't be wasting your time. There's a lot of people, grown-ups like me, who waste days and days, waste all our time in foolish things. Try to remember how precious, how special, how valuable time is. And let's remember to thank God for the time that He's given to you and the time He's given to me. Thank you for listening.